Hello and welcome to this video. This is going to be, I think, a weekend reading vlog. I have a couple of plans this weekend and I absolutely need to get some reading done because I've been so unproductive since returning from holiday. I've been horrendously busy with work, hardly having any time to read in the evenings and quite frankly not having the energy to read in the evenings, but I want to rectify that this weekend. I'm so happy this morning because I'm actually seeing the sun. I haven't seen daylight for the last 2 weeks, which sounds very dramatic, but just because of the nature of the work hours and the other things I've been doing, I've been very much an indoor person and I'm not an indoor person at all, so I'm very, very happy to be back out in the sunshine. And I actually have a really exciting day today. I'm going on a spa day with a couple of my old school friends. We meet up every couple of months and just catch up. We're roughly in the same area, but we've been saying for years that we'll go on a spa day, and COVID and restrictions and everything else have got in the way. So today is the day that we actually make it on this spa day. So I'm really excited to just have a whole day of relaxing in good company, recharge a little. I'm going to have a facial and a massage and go in the sauna, and it will just be an amazing time. So I will check in with you later, probably once I'm back, let you know how the day went and what my reading plans are. Hello, it is now Saturday morning. I've had a lovely leisurely start to the day, carrying on my relaxation from yesterday's amazing spa day. But I do now have a few things to get done around the house, so I've decided to listen to an audiobook while I am at it. So I am starting today reading A Clockwork River by J.S. Emery. Now this is one that I had come across in physical form, I think in Waterstones a few months ago, and thought, this sounds like an interesting book, I'll earmark it for future reading, but never actually had got round to it. Then I was looking through Audible for a new audiobook to pick up and came across it, so I've decided to give that one a try. So I've downloaded it. I don't really know much about this story apart from it seems to read like it's a bit of a steampunk type story. It's a sort of alternate reality Victorian setting, but with the society kind of based around water, I think, rather than steam. I'm not really sure, but anyway, it sounds like an interesting story. It seems to have a wonderful kind of chaotic mixture of themes going on and different characters and things. So I think it could be just the thing I'm after, something a little bit different and hopefully quite fast paced and nicely written to carry me through the jobs of the day. I also want to go out for a bit of a walk later and maybe even pop into a garden centre or something and start a little bit of my Christmas shopping, but we will see. I will check in with you a bit later on and let you know my first thoughts on this book. So I'm back now from the most perfect autumnal exploration in the parklands. The perfect day, beautiful scenery, and really good opportunity to listen to a good chunk of my audiobook as well, of A Clockwork River, and I'm loving this so far. I vaguely knew that it was kind of a Victorian alternative reality steampunk type book, but besides that I knew nothing about it. And I'm really pleasantly surprised in all departments. The characters are great, the story is really fun, but my absolute favourite thing, and the thing that is captivating me with this book, is the writing style. It is so well written. It's almost overwritten, but in a way that I really enjoy. So every single sentence, every word is extravagant. It's got these beautiful descriptions, lots of literary techniques, lots of similes and alternative ways of using words that you wouldn't necessarily think to, but which really, really works. And I'm just absolutely loving it. I'm having a really, really good time with the writing style. And as I say, it's a very fun plot too. So we're following a selection of different characters. Mainly our two main characters are siblings, Sam and Briony, but there are also a cast of supporting characters around them as well. And we're following different aspects of the story, and as these characters go on their separate adventures, and lots of I don't know how to describe it, but lots of like awkward scenarios and almost happenings and just very convoluted storylines, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's so much fun. There's some very extravagant characters in there as well, which is very, very entertaining. It's not written in a comedic way, but it is a very entertaining read, very fast paced, and I'm just having a really good time. So I'm definitely going to read a little bit more of that one this evening. So I'm having a very cosy fireside evening, reminiscing from my holiday. My fire is not quite so exciting, but it still does the job. And I'm having a cosy evening of doing handicraft stuff. So I decided recently I wanted to reteach myself how to crochet. I haven't done this for years. My grandma taught me when I was younger, and we used to make blankets such as this with just kind of colourful scraps of wool and just going round and round in a circle. And it's actually the most relaxing thing to do, just rhythmically going in and out through the loops, going round and round in a spiral. There's no end until you choose to do so. It's not following a pattern or anything stressful like knitting can be, and I'm actually having a really good time with this. So I'm listening to some more of my audiobook. I'm still listening to A Clockwork River, which I am having such a good time with. I've actually ordered the physical copy from Amazon as well, which hopefully will be arriving tomorrow, because I'm loving this book and I know I'm going to want to read it again physically at some other point, and also think that the experience of reading physically and listening at the same time would actually be really good with this book. So I will hopefully be receiving my physical copy tomorrow, but for now we will listen to a couple more chapters, do a bit more crochet, and then probably have a nice cozy relaxing evening. And of course I'm back at work tomorrow, which I'm really, really dreading after having such a wonderful weekend, but I think I might actually continue this vlog for the next few days because I'm really enjoying weekly vlogging again. I don't know how much I'll actually get filmed while I'm back at work, but we will see. But for now, more crochet, more books, and a lovely cozy evening. it is once again my day off from work, and I've had actually a really productive morning so far. It's about 11:30, but I've already been swimming this morning. So I decided last week, having had my beautiful spa day and so enjoying being back in the water, that I wanted to start going semi-regularly to my local leisure centre again to go swimming. It's something I did a long time ago. I used to swim a lot when I was a child. My mum always used to go swimming once a week, so I sometimes went with her. But since about 4 years ago, I haven't really been at all. Obviously, COVID was a big stop to all of that kind of thing, and I haven't really been to the gym or been swimming with any regularity since then, which is really bad. I do other exercise, but still, swimming was something I wanted to get back into, and I had such a good time this morning. I actually surprised myself how good at it I felt as well. I didn't completely push myself, but I did swim for a whole hour solidly, which really felt really good. And it's such a wonderful form of exercise for making you feel like you've had like a general workout without getting really hot and sweaty and like sore and everything else. So I'm really happy with that. I feel like I have so much energy now for the rest of the day, which is something that I very rarely feel, so that is a good sign. I'm going to go for a walk later, but first of all, I wanted to give you a reading update because another productive thing. I have finished a book. I've finally finished A Clockwork River. I adored this book. This is a new 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved it. So you will have got signs of my enthusiasm from my updates earlier on in this video. But as I said, a 5-star read. I loved the intrigue in this. I loved the world that was created and that we were introduced to. The writing style, as I've said before, was my absolute favourite thing about this book. So it was just such an eccentric style and such a wonderful use of language in a non-traditional way, but that really kept you captivated and really appealed to me. I don't know if everyone would feel the same about this writing style. Some people might not like it, but there was something about it that just really appealed to me and to how I like to read and to write as well. So I thoroughly loved this, and all of the characters were wonderfully crafted as well. A real eclectic bunch, but I loved all of them. A lot of very surprisingly good characters in this, like finding good in unusual places kind of vibes. Also a few wonderfully morally grey characters too, which I always enjoy reading about. And a really heartwarming ending as well to this story. I absolutely loved this. As I said, you can probably tell. New 5-star read. I don't think it was perfect. It's not... So I give 5 stars in 2 different ways. It's either a book that I might not have personally absolutely loved, but I just can't fault. Or it's a book that I really did love and I will think about and return to and reread a number of times, even though there might be tiny little things that are not completely perfect. But this one is definitely a 5-star. I will definitely reread this. The audiobook format, which I predominantly consumed this book as, was absolutely fantastic as well. Really, the narration style really fit with the voice that you hear in this book when you read it physically. But I'm glad I have a physical copy to complement that and to keep on my shelves. I really love the foiling on this as well. Look at that beautiful copper colour. I think that's gorgeous. Anyway, so a very productive read for me, and I need to now decide what I'm going to read for the rest of the month. I did want to pick up the Atlas 6 this month, so that may well be my next read, but you will have to stay tuned to find out. But for now, I'm going to get myself all bundled up and go for a walk, I think probably to the woods. I'm just craving some more fresh air and some sunlight and enjoying the last little trickle of autumn colour that we get before we get into December. So without further ado, let's go for a walk and I will chat to you again very soon. Hello, so I'm just checking in to let you know what you will have seen already, but I haven't actually verbally spoken about yet, that I have started reading The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. Now, I wasn't sure, to be honest, whether I was going to read this book. This was so hyped up a year or so ago when it first came out as a self-published. It's then been picked up by traditional publishing through Tor, and I think slightly adapted or adjusted somehow, but anyway, because it was so overhyped, I just wasn't sure if it was something that I wanted to get on board with. I do tend to avoid books when they are talked about so much, because I don't want to be disappointed by them. But from what I've heard about the plot of this and the fact that it's dark academia, it's morally grey characters, it did sound like something I would really enjoy. So I have finally taken the plunge and started this. I'm already about a third of the way through. I raced through this yesterday. As you will have seen, I was initially in town doing errands and just found it a little overwhelming and stressful, so decided to go and have a little wander and a sit in the local churchyard and do some reading, as you do. I actually started this as a habit during autumn and have continued because it's such a lovely, relaxing place to sit and read. Anyway, it felt quite fitting as well for this sort of slightly grim, intense sort of book. I don't know, it felt like it worked for me. But anyway, I am loving this so far. I'm really intrigued by the story. So we're following 6 protagonists in this, and each chapter is from a different protagonist's perspective. So we get to see inside all of their heads and their motivations and their perspective on the story. It is very classically dark academia from what I can see. It has an interesting twist on magic as well. So the magic is very scientific based. It's all kind of, a lot of it's sort of physics based, which is again something a bit different and something more down the academic side rather than like pretty fantasy magic, which you get in a lot of books. So definitely intrigued. I am also partly listening to this through audiobook, which I'm not as sold on the audiobook version of this as I was for Clockwork River, which I've previously read, because I feel like some of the, I'm not going to name drop, but I feel like some of the narrators are much better than others. So some of the sections I'm really enjoying listening to, and others I'm thinking, no, I want to read this bit physically because I don't get on with that voice so much. But overall, it's good to have the balance of formats, and I do plan to read a good chunk more of this today. This will probably carry me through to the end of the month. There's only a couple more days now, so I will try and extend this vlog to the point where I finish this book so I can let you know my final thoughts, because I do feel like I will read this pretty quickly. So stay tuned for that, and I will get on with a little more reading and speak to you again very soon. Hello, so I am checking in to round out this vlog. I'm not quite sure how long it's ended up being, but I feel like I've been at it for weeks, so this is definitely time enough to finish it, and most importantly finishing on a good note, because I have now finished, just about 10 minutes ago, The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I'm so glad I finally got to read this. This was everything I was hoping it would be. It wasn't exactly as I expected it, but it was all of the beats of a dark academia story, which I was hoping this was, without the spoiling factor, if you like, of being overhyped, which is why I put off reading this for so long. I adored the characters. That was the main thing I loved about this book. All 6 of our protagonists were morally grey characters. They were very flawed and damaged, but such fascinating people, and watching their interactions throughout all of the events of the book was by far the best thing about this. The plot itself was also interesting, though quite slow in terms of plot. There wasn't a huge amount actually happening. There were a couple of action moments, but mostly it is just character building and interactions between the characters, and I really loved that. I'm so intrigued to see more from all of these characters, and I really hope to pick up the sequel soon. The twist at the end was also really interesting. I kind of guessed it and kind of didn't. Like, I guessed that something was up with a certain person without giving spoilers, but didn't expect it to be exactly how things panned out. Sorry, that's really vague, but you'll know if you've read it. But I liked the twist, and I think it sets us up for a fascinating sequel, and I really hope to get to that one within the next couple of months as a high priority. It is now out, so hopefully I will get to that one very, very quickly. I just really want to figure out where the story's going, because I feel like so much could happen now from this point, so we will see. In terms of star rating, I'm kind of on the fence between a 4 and a 5 at the moment. I really liked it, but I'm just not sure if it's quite got that edge of a 5-star just yet. However, I do feel like it's the sort of book that will improve for me on a reread, so if I do end up rereading this one or reading the sequel and then going back to the start of this one, or seeing this one in a different light depending on subsequent events, it has the potential to become a 5-star. So we're somewhere in between the two. You'll have to wait and see how things turn out in the future. But regardless, a really, really solid read, one that I am so glad I finally got to, and definitely a fitting way to round out November, to round out the autumn, and to lead us straight into December and some more festive reads. So without further ado, I am going to leave this vlog here, but I will be back very soon because I want to vlog all of my festive experiences over the next few weeks. So a couple more videos should be coming your way before the end of the year. But that is it for this one. So as always, give me a like down below if you enjoyed it. Chat to me in the comments about any of the books I've read, anything else you'd like to discuss with me. I always love to chat to you guys, and please consider subscribing if you'd like to see more content from me. It really means a lot and helps to grow my channel too. Thank you for watching. I will see you again soon for a new video. So goodbye for now.